Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the organizers for inviting me. A very good afternoon to you all. Empirical evidence being central to recent discourse, I'm excerpting US archival records to demonstrate that America's rhetorical emphasis on liberal democratic values in designating China as an authoritarian revisionist threat to their US-led rules-based order belies the history of US-China relations over the past 50 years. The record speaks for itself. 20th May 1971, informing Premier Chou En-lai of US-Soviet anti-ballistic missile negotiations, President Nixon asked NSA Henry Kissinger to inform Premier Chou. President Nixon wishes to emphasize that it is his policy to conclude no agreement which would be directed against the People's Republic of China. Mr. Kissinger is prepared to include this issue and related questions on the agenda of the proposed meeting with the designated representative of the PRC. 9th July 1971, Kissinger to Chou. For the past century, you were victims of foreign oppression. Only today, after many difficulties and separate roads, have we come together again on a basis of equality and mutual respect. We consider that the PRC, because of its achievements, tradition, ideology, and strength, must participate on the basis of equality in all matters affecting the peace of Asia and the peace of the world. 28 February 1972, overnight. Kissinger to Chiao Kuan-hua. Having first provided numbers of Soviet motorized rifle divisions and tank divisions deployed along China's borders, now provided details. Each motorized rifle division has 186 medium tanks, 200 APCs, 4 Frog missile launchers, 144 artillery pieces, that is 54 mortars, 54 122mm howitzers, 18 152mm howitzers, 18 multiple rocket launchers, 28 anti-aircraft weapons, 45 anti-tank artillery, 1178 trucks and tenders. A tank division has 310 medium tanks, 80 APCs, 4 Frog missile launchers, 18 mortars, 60 122mm howitzers, 18 multiple rocket launchers, 68 anti-aircraft weapons, 94 anti-tank artillery, and 1108 general-purpose vehicles. Similar details of Soviet Air Force and missile forces were provided. 13th October 1978, NSA Brzezinski to President Carter. Both the Soviet Union and Vietnam are intent on making China an issue in our relations with them, and this factor will grow rather than diminish with time. Chinese diplomatic activity has become more intense, and the Chinese see their activities as complementary to our long-term interests in offsetting Soviet domination of the southern arc countries from Indochina to southern Africa. 20th December 1978, Nixon to Carter. No reasonable person would question Dr. Brzezinski's assertion that the PRC, because of its control over population and territory, is in fact the government of China. However, the 17 million people in Taiwan who have prospered greatly under a non-communist government have an almost fanatical core of support in the nation, the USA, and Congress. It is essential that you give additional reassurances firmly and unequivocally that the USA will protect Taiwan. 31st December 1978, Carter to Hua Guofeng. The United States desires a world of diversity in which each nation is free to make a distinctive contribution to express the manifold aspirations, cultures, traditions, and beliefs of mankind. The American people value the enormous contributions the Chinese people have made to the achievements of humanity, and we welcome the growing involvement of the PRC in world affairs. We consider China as a key force for global peace. 25th January 1979, Brzezinski to Carter. The US-Chinese-Soviet triangle will require particularly delicate management. Brezhnev's goal is to get us to assign primacy to our Soviet relationship while keeping China poor, weak, and isolated. Heightened Soviet-American tension would best serve Deng because it would increase China's tactical value to the US and would shift a portion of the burden for resisting Moscow from China to the US. Our interest is to improve relations with both Peking and Moscow and to avoid allowing one to use us against the other, unquote. 18 years of tacit US-China alliance followed. Arguably, China under Mao and Deng was much more communist or socialist and authoritarian than it has been since. That did not matter then. Official US grand strategic documents make clear US displacement anxiety is driving policy. Thanks for your attention.